All right, episode 8. And woke up about 20 minutes ago. Went and got a Starbucks coffee with, if you use the app, I guess you get like stars. It's like it adds up, and then it's like a punch card essentially, and you can get free coffees. And I had about enough to get 10 free coffees, which is nice because I get a lot of coffees from there. I go to this other coffee shop. I was making cold brew for a while to save money, and then it just becomes like very gross. And I was reading this book and it's called Atomic Habits, and it's like how to build good habits. And so one of the things was do the thing you want to do after something you do every day. So I was writing after buying a coffee every day, and and then I was doing it in the coffee shop because it was like use a new environment to like build this good habit. And so I was doing that, and then I was like, well, now I can't make my own cold brew because I have to go to this coffee shop. I'm bad at saving money, dude. I find every excuse in the world, I guess, to use Uber Eats every day. I don't even have excuses at this point. One of the things the book says is it's like, tell yourself you are the thing you want to be. Like, just adopt the identity. So it'd be like, I am good at saving money. I'm good at saving money. And like, you tell yourself that. So I'm telling myself that, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm good at saving money. So I can afford to eat Uber Eats today, which is not true. And I've just been ordering Uber Eats. I need to grocery shop, but I'm good at saving money. That's what I got to tell myself. And this damn Starbucks app pisses me off because it's like, it doesn't let you just Apple Pay a coffee. You got to reload. You got to reload the amount of money that you have in the app because apparently you need to have Starbucks cash to buy coffees. They don't just let you buy a coffee. It's like you gotta we have to wash your money. You have to go to one of those places when you go to like a international and you have to like what's the word? Like the currency exchange, I guess. They have to do that because Starbucks is its own country, evidently. And so that annoys me. But I did just get a passport. I don't know if I brought this up yet. I've never been outside the country. Well, when I was a kid, I went on a cruise, and I have my own passport. So I don't know where I'm going to go first. Maybe India would be cool, but I'm probably not going to go there for a while. I guess Europe is like the starter kit to going somewhere that isn't America. But it would be cool. It would be cool. India's cool just because like the music makes me like, I don't know, it's just very spiritual and it sounds cool. But I guess it depends where you go. I like Life of Pi. I've watched it like 1,000 times. It's one of my favorite movies. And I'm not sick. It's the damn cat. But which I also like Life of Pi for that reason, because in the movie he's like, when you look into a tiger's eyes, it's like looking into its soul. And sometimes when the cat looks at me, I'm like, I feel like Pi in that movie because I feel like I can see his soul. But yeah, he lives in Pondicherry, which is the French part of India. And it looks very pretty in the movie. The music is really what sells it all. I mean, I just imagine my hope would be I'd go to India and it would just be the Life of Pi soundtrack the whole time. I know that's not the case. But yeah, did make me want to go there. This damn dentist hit me up yesterday, the scammer dentist that is a scumbag. I got a text like, it's been 6 months. You need to come back for a cleaning. It was like a robot text. And I wrote back like, are you kidding me? You guys are grifters. I got a letter from my insurance company that said you're a grifter. I wish there was more I could do besides leave a bad review. Like, what could I just want to like go there and just like stand outside the doorway and just tell everybody going in like, do you know he's a scammer? Here's why. I don't know. I don't know the fix in this world. Maybe I become a dentist and then I'll have a bigger ego. No, what's the word? Pathos. I'll have more credibility to tell people like this guy's a scammer. But then maybe I'll become a dentist and realize that it's like hard to be one, and then I'll start scamming people. Anyway, gotta save money. It's so annoying. It's like you start to just see. I finally have a savings for once in my life, but the actual, like, the non-savings, you just see it deplete. And then I'll get pissed off because it's like money just comes out of my account Like, I'm like, all right, this is how much money I have. And then I look an hour later and there's less. And I'm like, what the hell is. And you go and it's like something that you're like, oh, I guess, yeah. Amazon. What is this? I'll just let him in. It's a FedEx guy with no box. Oh, no, he's got a box. Okay. Speaking of not saving money, here comes something I ordered. But yeah, that you have less money, and it's like, yeah, you remember you bought that thing? It didn't go through till 10 minutes ago, but you ordered it a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and it's like, just take the money out when I buy it. I'm just complaining a lot today. And then I go to Equinox, which is an expensive-ass gym. It's $250 a month. And that's with the NYU discount. And that's for one location, not all of them. But they have a really nice boxing area, and then there's like a steam room and stuff. But the steam room, there's like a rumor, there's a myth that gay men will pleasure each other in the steam room, right? That's what I've heard. And I was like, there's no way that's true. But then you go to the steam room, and outside the steam room, there's a big sign, and it's like, don't have sex in here, basically, is what the steam room sign says. And it's like, well, that sign doesn't exist anywhere else. You know, that's not outside the McDonald's, because people just know. They just know not to do that there. So that was like a eyebrow raiser. And then my buddy who's gay was like, yeah, no, that's true. They do that sometimes. We do that. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, what's the sign? What's the symbol? Look, how do you know a guy wants to? And he's like, you just got to look a guy in his eyes. That's the sign. And so now every time I'm in the steam room, I'm like squinting as hard as I'm like shutting my eyes and looking at the ground. And no, it's been fine. But there was one time, a guy, it was just me and him in there. And I wear my headphones in there. And he like stood up and he was leaving. And he goes, all right. And I'm like, oh, this person's addressing me. So I looked down. I was like, and I like went like that. Just went, smile, nod, looked down. And he kind of like stared at me and he left. And he came back. Like after 5 minutes, he came back into the steam room and he sat right next to me. And I was like, buddy, we're not doing this. I was like, and I actually said nothing. I just turned away very awkwardly. And after a few minutes, he got the hint. But now that's like another part of the steam room experience. And it sometimes pisses me off. But I will admit that sometimes it's fun to get mad. And I don't say anything. But it is, it's fun to just like, it makes the steam room experience a little more interesting. But then there's people that go in there and there's one guy that stretches and he like moans. He like moans while he stretches. And I'm like, dude, this is a place of like stoicism. You're supposed to come in here and like meditate and be like a Greek philosopher. Which, to be fair, apparently they were having sex with each other. So maybe it is, on brand with the Greeks. But I'm in there trying to like think about the universe. I'm trying to like reach a god-like mentality, and this guy's over in the corner like as he like stretches on the wall. I get it though. I get why you'd want to stretch in the steam room, but yeah, don't look guys in their eyes in the steam room is what I've come to learn. And yeah, that gym is expensive, and I should probably in an effort to save money stop going there, but I do like it. I do like that gym. And they have nice boxing stuff. So we'll keep it going for a little while longer. The other thing that sucks about that gym, and I mean it's a lot of gyms, but it's like you have to stay. It's a year contract. Luckily my year is coming up, but it's like what? It's like the Starbucks cash. It's like just why do I have to indebt myself to a certain amount of time? A lot of complaining today. I don't know if that's what makes a good podcast, but I just woke up, and sometimes I'm in like a bad mood, and I guess it's that's what leads to possibly a good rant. Hinge is one of the things I have. Yeah, I'm on Hinge again, but it's like I know what I notice is when you sign into Hinge, like like if you can put your phone number in and it sends you a code, and I was like, huh, like I could just put anybody's phone number in and it will send them a code. So it's like, oh, you like. I wouldn't do this. It's like a plot point in a TikTok I filmed yesterday, but that might not see the light of day. We'll see. But like you could just put a phone number of a guy who's dating a girl you like in, and just hope she sees the code come through, and she's gonna be like, "What the hell? You made a Hinge?" So take that, fellas. No, don't do that. That's horrible. But interesting that is a thing I thought. And Hinge is crazy because Hinge is like, and I get it, right? Like you want to sell yourself the best you can, but some of these ladies on Hinge, it's like one girl, it's like a picture of her standing in snow, pants down to her ankles so she could be in a bikini. And you download Hinge with the intention of like dating, and these girls, they just post these photos that's like would have been porn in the 70s, would have been in a magazine, Sports Illustrated. And you're like, damn, I'm trying to like find a girlfriend, and now I'm looking at this photo, and it's like, it's porn. It's 70s porn, but it's porn. But I get it. I mean, that's part of the dating game, I guess. You got to sift through what you're not necessarily into to find what you are into. But then you're like swiping with new intentions. You go on there like, maybe I'll find a wife, and next thing you know, you're like, what are you doing later? Because you could just like pay for the app, and then it's like you could really get specific. It's like a short term, only wants to hang out once. Has a dad with yellow hair. I don't know. Just something to think about for you guys. I tried making a comedy song. Once in a while I try doing that, and I think the key is to write the lyrics first, because I end up just like singing gibberish over the piano and then like trying to like backfill it with funny words. But the one I was trying to do was like a Hinge dating app song, sort of like Bo Burnham's "Welcome to the Internet," but it was like about dating apps only, and it was like sort of trying to be a commentary on the virtual dating experience, and it's basically just saying everything I just said, but in song. But it's hard. I don't really know how to do it. I don't know how to make a funny one that also sounds good, that isn't like the cringiest thing I've ever heard, but we'll keep trying. And then I have to make a video for it, and then you have to sing, and it's like, oh, people have to see me sing, and it looks weird. I remember when I was a kid, it's funny how certain comments you can hold with you for life. But when I was a kid, there was this guy that I hung out with, and I remember, I don't know why I was singing, or I pretended to sing, or I was like lip syncing, but he was like, "Whoa, you look weird when you sing." And then I lip synced. He's like, "Even when you're not, like, you're pretending to sing, you just look weird." And I've thought about that for the rest of my life. And I was probably 8. I was like 8 when that happened. So that's like interesting how things, they stick with you. Last week somebody commented. They were like, how do you have 800,000 subscribers and you only get 800 views? It literally doesn't make sense. And I'm like, I say it every week. I have views from short form content. Nobody knows about the podcast. I'm trying to grow it. But, they don't watch it. They don't care. They just somehow see my video, and they leave a comment that I don't know why necessarily. Maybe they get mad because they think I'm botting, which I'm not, or they think I'm criminally underrated, but yet somehow overrated. Who knows? But stop leaving those comments. I may have just invited way more by saying that, but I also posted a stand-up clip, and there was like a couple comments like, "You're better than this," like basically saying it was a bad clip. It was like just like riffing with the audience. In the moment, it was fun, but it wasn't really, I guess, timeless. It wasn't internet. It was more had to be there, perhaps. But it's a clip man's world. So I was like, let me just try and clip this and see if it results in anything. And there was just people like, you're funnier than this. And it hurts. And I'm like, who leaves these kind of comments? But at the same time, it is like, I deleted it. I was like, you know what? If that is the feedback here, then maybe perhaps it is a bad clip. That it's funny. It can hurt your feelings, but at the same time, it is information. It's data that I then took and used to delete that clip. So, I guess it's part of the it's like the virtual non-laugh is the, hey, this sucks, man, take it down. So I did. I think it's interesting how people are mad the news won't cover other murders, but they're covering this like Luigi guy. They're like, oh, the news doesn't care about any other. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. But at the same time, it's like it's a viral murder. Like it's all the ingredients for public intrigue. So I do understand. It's like, why? What about the guy that was shot on this corner of so and so 2 weeks ago and died? And it's like, yeah, well, you mean the gang murder? We're supposed to, like, you want everybody to become very, very interested in a thing that is kind of explainable, or, it's just something that's happened a million times. It makes sense that this guy is a CEO of a health insurance company, and this, like, lone wolf young guy decides to kill him, and he almost gets away with it. And of course, the news is going to talk about it because it's viral online. So that's my take on that. I know you've all been wondering what I thought about the news cycle and what they think about that. I also think that the lawyer that the guy's got is pretty cool. I've realized recently defense lawyers are way cooler. Like, people used to, or in general, I guess, they're like, oh, how could you defend criminals and stuff? But I think, if anything, the possibly less cool lawyer to be is the prosecutor. I think the defense lawyer is probably a lot cooler because you are defending somebody from going to a cage, and people are like, oh, you're defending criminals. I'm like, yeah, but like, if you're able to convince a jury not to send a guy to a cage, it's like, well, then that guy probably shouldn't have been in a cage, right? I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. That's all I'll say. Defense lawyers. There should be like a PR lawyer. Like, when like people get canceled, there should be a guy that's like, because like they say, the reason you need one of the reasons you want a lawyer and not to represent yourself is like people are more convinced when somebody else is arguing on your behalf. I bet it's kind of like that Atomic Habits book. There's like a chapter where it's like, oh, like people, if you're in a room with like one other person and you're asked a question and the answer is obvious, but the other person answers wrong, you will answer the obvious answer. If it's like two people and they answer obviously wrong, and you'll still answer the right answer. But when it gets to like 5 people, you'll start to question yourself, and eventually the mob mentality of everybody answering a certain way will make you like, oh, no, it must be this. It must be this. So I feel like that's part of the reason the lawyers help. But yeah, I think defense lawyers are kind of a cool thing, but the PR lawyer would be kind of an interesting thing. Like, when a guy gets canceled, if he's like, my client, or just a guy that makes a YouTube video like, who cares? Who cares he said that word? It's a big deal. I guess there was that kind of existed with the, or at least that was accused, like when Mr. Beast was dealing with his shit, there was like commentary channels that would defend him. And some people are like, oh, he clearly paid you to do this. But, like, I don't think that might have, I don't know if that was the case, but it was interesting to see because in their comments, I feel like the comment section of a lot of videos, like, it's like weirdly like you get like a hive mind, or maybe it's just people that agree. It doesn't have to be a hive mind, but those commentary channels, it was all like agreeing with this guy. And I'm like, where were all those people before this video? So, yeah, I have a way of skirting in between different things very fast, and I don't know if it makes for good podcasting, but it's fun. Prison is torture. Yeah, I met a girl who's like parents. She said they were both lawyers and they don't believe in prison. It's like prison abolitionists. I think that's a very interesting thing. As somebody who's like, I think my worst fear would be prison. I think in Norway they're like college dorms and you get guitars and stuff. I think that's cool. I remember when my dad, like a long time ago, he was talking about like the death penalty. He's like, yeah, nobody wants it until it's like, or people like it until it goes both ways. People like it until it's like your family member that's going to be on death row, and vice versa. It's like people don't want it until it's like your family member that was killed, I guess. But I guess that's the case with prison. But I don't know. I just like, sometimes I see documentaries and my buddy, he's a comedian. I was talking to him. He was a lawyer and he was like, dude, being a lawyer, just like it's like weird how like the court system is very like proper and decorum, and it's like very like elegant and stuff, but it's really just a funnel for people to be put into like the what is essentially like a animalistic part of our society that we don't really acknowledge. And I was like, that's interesting. Yeah, like that is. And I have a prison pen pal who's in prison, and he tells me some stories and stuff. And it is a crazy thing that exists. I mean, I don't know the answer. I don't know that the answer would be don't have prison, but yeah, it's something to think about. And I was wondering, what if I looked this up? Can the president pardon every prisoner? And ChatGPT told me technically he could. It would have to be like federal, or what is it? Federal crimes. Like you can't do like state crime. But just for the sake of argument, that would be the funniest thing ever if Biden just like, as he was leaving, was like, reverse purge. Just like everybody's pardoned. You just opened up the prisons. Could be like a cool movie or something, maybe. Speaking of movies, I'm working on a script. I have like 3 unfinished scripts. One is a Fault in Our Stars spoof that I did in college that I'm sort of giving up on. The other was a Jester script. It was like a medieval jester who... It was really a guy that wanted to be the jester to the king, and it's like SNL auditions. But the king is like a tyrant, and he ends up getting the job, and the tyrant, the king is like killing everybody, and now this jester has to like, make this horrible king laugh. And I'm like, maybe it could be a TV show as well, because it's like and my friends accuse me of being way too interested in jesters, and I like try and shoehorn this idea into things, but I do think it would be a cool TV show. The script was okay. My friend said it felt like Shrek at times. In a good way, he said. But I do think it'd be a cool show, like a jester to a tyrant king. And it's like, because like the jester he's the only one that could say whatever he wants to the king. And technically, if it's a tyrant king, he could probably still kill the jester. But I think it would be cool if it's like, he's like whispering things to him that he's not, normally he can't say. And also, it's just like, because people are always like, oh, comedy's about punching up and stuff. And like, I feel like the king would be like, oh, make fun of Asians again. And the jester's like, oh, I'm really supposed to speak truth to power. And he's like, what are you talking about? You're supposed to make me laugh. That's it. And I think that could be like a funny dynamic. But I do think when people say, oh, comedy's about speaking truth to power and punching up, and I'm like, why do we have to call jokes punching? And why can't it just be about laughing? I mean, I'm not saying, only make fun of homeless people, but I do think the verbiage punching when it comes to jokes is sort of not necessary, maybe. But who am I? All right, I think that's it. The other script is it's like a hypochondriac that thinks he's dying, so he like plans to like kill his parents so they won't have to see him die. Like he thinks he's doing a good thing, a good deed. And then I saw a Woody Allen movie, Hannah and Her Sisters, and there's a small scene where he's like talking about dying, and he's like, oh, then I have to kill my parents and then the rest of my family. And I was like, that bums me out. I mean, it wasn't a movie. It was just a small line that kind of is like the same sentiment. So it made me be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, at least I have an idea that's in the realm of another, or in the realm of a talented filmmaker. But then I wrote this script. I'm like 60 pages in, and I'm like, this is so bad. Like, at the beginning was all right, but now it's bad. And so I'm like going to finish it and then start a new script. But I figured I'd just bring that up because it was in my notes. And that was episode 8. A little whiny, a little complainy, perhaps. But I went for it. And now I have to go to Jersey because I'm filming a video with my buddy, a fake self-defense video. Hopefully that's good. And we'll see if we post it. We'll see if we post it, and we'll see if we keep it up, because sometimes we post and we delete, but that's the name of the game. I was thinking, I have a drone. Should I try and lean into the drone pandemonium and make a video about something? I got to think of like a fun sketch with the drone. Maybe it's me sending it up and then getting arrested. No, that's like hacky, but we'll figure it out. But the drone thing, it's weird. I'm going to go to Jersey, and I'm going to keep my eyes to the sky. and little drones, hobbyist drones, I will not take into account. But I've seen videos, and I'm like, well, there's some videos going viral. I'm like, that is a plane. That's got to be a plane. So I don't know what the drone thing could be. Somebody else was saying that it's a military things going on that they're not allowed to speak about, but they're military drones. And I'm like, is that true? Because can they not just, I mean, the governor is like on the news and like the White House, and they're like, we don't know what it is. I'm like, at what point can the military not just be like, hey, just so you know, we know what it is? Because like all these politicians are like, oh, we have no idea. So yeah, I'm gonna send up my drone maybe, and I'll have a word with the other drones, and we'll speak. Maybe I'll follow them out to the sea and find the boats that are sending them, and I'll be like, hey, Iran, you can't do that. I'll speak through my Best Buy drone. I'll try. I'll see. I'll see what happens. All right, I just turned the camera back on to film this segment, and I didn't really have a lot of insightful things to say other than stay tuned. So, all right, folks, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later.